hustle for the cash, so it's hard to knock it. Everybody got their own thing, currency chasing worldwide.
Okay, we like to let Tupac finish his message because he's sending an important message to start this hour. So, hello, hello, hello. God bless you, community family, and welcome to Gang Talk. We are so grateful to have this time to talk about this very important subject with our community members. And as you can see, we have a different co-host tonight. Skipp, bless his heart, is so busy, and the more he does, the more they want from him. So he's out training and teaching and telling folks what we're doing over here. So we're very proud of Skipp, and as he thanks God every week for his recovery, we thank God for him too, because that's what we're here to do, is encourage our young people to join us on this side and not go down the dark side. So God bless you once again, and welcome to this hour. Now, what we normally do is thank our guests and from last week, and if you were listening last week, you noticed I wasn't here. Sister got ill, but thank God for Skipp Townsend and Terrence Shepard for coming in, and as they had promised, Terrence had promised, and he brought a young lady named Talise that came, and she was kind of a surprise for him because he was expecting a young man that actually came down with the flu. So last week has been shut out for some folks, so if you've been ill, we're glad you're not anymore. But once again, we want to thank Terrence for coming last week with Talise, because she's a young woman, and the one thing we know about that generation, they are very observant. They don't miss much of nothing. So we want to thank them, and then also thank Lamont Woods, Marcus Woods, for the week before for bringing 12-year-old Leah. That was an unusual conversation for folks like us because it's adult conversation. We seldom get to have a serious talk with the 12-year-olds in our community. We need to, and we're moving in that direction, especially with the siblings that have had their family members victimized by the violence. If you've had a loved one stolen from you in this violence, we certainly need to set up some kind of advocacy for those siblings. So we thank Leah for coming in and representing for her age group, and we thank Petra. Petra called in, Petra Fontilla, and Petra served 12 years in lockup. 12 years. The government took 15 years of her life because, bless her heart, when she was Leah's age, Petra was glorifying bank robbery. And that's what she and her friends engaged in. So we're very honest about what we talk about. So we don't condemn anybody for their past. It's only what they're doing in their present. So this is what this show is about. So God bless you once again, and welcome to this important hour. Now, what we do after that, we have introductions. So you can see we have a full house tonight because it's a very important topic that we're here to talk about. And so we're going to start with the ladies first. And we speak into the mic.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Irving. I sit on the Watts Neighborhood City Council Board, and I also have my own nonprofit called A Better You, and my motto is, why waste a life when you can build one?
All right. Ladies first.
Good evening. My name is Jacqueline Badejo. I am a victims advocate and first and foremost a Watsonian, raised in born and raised in Watts. So I have special services, direct services for victims of crime, and being this pending issue, that's why I'm here.
Okay, God bless you. We're going to share mics. Your next young man?
Yes, my name is Mr. Keith Wilkerson, ex-Watts City Council area representative for the Nickerson Garden Housing Development.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rico. I'm representing from the city of Watts, but out of the Nickerson Gardens as a community representative who has a voice and born and raised as a Watts baby. I just want to give my insight and the knowledge that I know and bring to the table.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bow Wow. I'm a Watts Jordan resident, known as a peace advocate.
And let me just mention the two men here, you've been here before.
Yeah.
And Bow Wow, you were with us on the radio when we were on radio, so we're so happy you're back.
Pleasure.
My name is Dowdy Sherrills. Again, I'm a Watts resident and community activist. I wear many different hats. I'm also a co-founder of American, which Jim Brown, the Hall of Fame football player, is the president. Also, at this ending point, I'm a board member from Build Plus Community Marketplace, which is a crime prevention agency that's focused on creating opportunities and job developments in the Watts community. And also, I sit as a member for G-Love Car Club, which is a grassroots community-based organization that's focused on finding solutions to the issues that we face in our community around violence.
All right, that's good. It's very good to know, and I can't tell you how proud I am to have you here with us, because I was, like so many of us, not just the folks in the community, those of us that watched, were really concerned with the last 2 weeks in Nickerson and what had happened. So I really wanted to talk to the community members to get some clarification. Because the news always puts the negative spotlight on things when really it's a wrong focus. The focus is wrong. And when I was told the story about it, and I'd like for somebody interested in clarifying the first incident with the basketball player and all that foolishness that went on that ended up with some car windows broken. Okay, so who wants to clear that up for those that don't know?
Because it was actually out of our projects, the Nickersons.
Right.
I look at the situation that happened when we discussed it. It was a black eye for the whole community. Whether you got an arrest on an NBA player in that stature of, you still don't want to put it out there in that manner. The guy was arrested before he came out the house or was put in handcuffs. The news and TMZ was there, so that was kind of like a fixed deal. Once you got a guy, like I said, of that stature who's willing to come in our community and help the families that he helps, the impact that he brings to our neighborhood. And it's not that negative impact of selling marijuana, smoking marijuana.
Can I just fill in? See, because folks call me. They wanted to clarify this, and my understanding was that he was there specifically. There was a birthday party going on for one of his friends, and his friend had passed, and he had made a promise to his friend to look out for his kids.
Absolutely.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. They were having a birthday party for the father that had passed, and he was there, and you were all celebrating. I understand you had a whole setup for like a street party with a candy counter and live music and, those kinds of things for that kind of block party.
Absolutely. It was a great event. It started at 3.
Thank
you.
Well, let me say it this way. The reason I want to clarify it is because the news just portrayed you as a wild crowd out there about nothing but attacking law enforcement. We want to clarify that it was a community event that was set up in a way of a party, and that the basketball player was a participant and a part of that.
Absolutely.
Yes, it wasn't happenstance. We just want to clear that up.
It was also brought to the attention of LAPD that we would be out there celebrating in that kind of manner, that we would kind of close it down because it was a weekday, being a Wednesday. So we had coordinated with the folks, but somehow, some way, again, we dropped the ball or we miscommunicated. But those are the things that we're facing, and we need better results.
Well, that's really why I asked you to come here, see, because they misrepresent the real facts, and the sad story for us, the rest of the city believes that foolishness. You see, but we have this time to hear our voices so we can tell the truth from our side. And the joke, before I let you, because I want you to carry this for me. The joke is we have a $20 million making basketball money in our community to share in our community. And the best thing the news can do and law enforcement can do is charge him with coming there to sell marijuana.
Absolutely.
How offensive.
It's a real black eye. Like I said, it was no reason for him or shape the situation should occur like that. No. Like I said, here's a guy who's taking his time out of his day to keep a promise he made to a fallen soldier of ours.
That's right.
And it's been very instrumental in a lot of lives that could could have went the wrong way.
That's right.
So we thank him, and I'm glad for you giving us this opportunity to come and kind of shine some light on him, because he has been a major impact in our community with some of our young guys.
Mm-hmm. You know, the community wanted me to know the truth. That's why they contacted me. I saw you nodding. I saw you want to say something, don't you? Come on, girl. Come on. Now,
I mean,
look.
it's just, that's what we've been dealing with. Just all of our American lives, you know, over here in this country, them putting negative connotations on us, and us always trying to not only make it through the inner circles of destruction they've caused amongst us, but trying to make it in this world, especially this country. So that's just pretty much what it is. And that's why we have to come together, especially on platforms like this that's not controlled by major media, you know, those 6 entities that has all the control, so we can get the truth out, because we are somebody.
We are.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know what I'm saying, like you say, you know, for people, you know, who haven't been raised in our community, you know what I'm saying? Our community is a historical, rich, beautiful community, and the people there is beautiful also. And even though we do have conflicts over there.
Let me say this, too, before we pass over, because I want you to talk about that. Watts is the original home for the black Los Angeles.
Yes.
That's where we were allowed to live when we migrated from the South and the East.
Yes.
Watts was it. They had a housing covenant. You could not go past certain boundaries, and Lamert Park actually was established as a boundary. It's named after a man who was a boundary maker.
Yes.
Yeah, you come and invest over here because we're going to keep it, you know, pristine and white.
Yes.
Okay, see, so we should not hide the fact that we were restricted, but we made our life and homes in Watts, and that's where we're from. It has historic significance for us as a people in the city, and it deserves the respect of our people.
And not only that, it has tremendous, you know, real estate value. Watts, you know, the property value in Watts is valued as higher as some of the places in Beverly Hills, and so, you know, people look at Watts and they trying to cover it up based upon this value by identifying the people as the scare tactic, like they do in Scooby-Doo and, you know, and things like that, scaring people away from a treasure that's hidden. And like you say, Watts is the hub of the city of Los Angeles.
Yes.
And Watts has so many historical monuments and historical things that would, you know, most people is not aware of in the city. But, you know, we on the rise, and like I said, and every time we rise and every time we move forward, we have people that are always just trying to, you know, keep us down or utilizing conflicts to continue to label the neighborhood as a bad neighborhood.
Yes. You wanted to say something?
I just wanted to say just about both incidents, about, you know, the situation with the cars, the police cars. It's like we take pride in our city. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, I'm 38, so I just go off the history that's, you know what I'm saying, that I absorb from people talking about. It's like we stand up. It's like when every time there's a revolution, you know, it's Watts. We stand up and we do what we do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Just like you just said, like we represent for the black Los Angeles.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
And a lot of kids, it's like, with my age and younger, it's like lots they want to say, they don't even know how to verbalize it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So we use tools, it's bottles and sticks. Like, this is our frustration right here. This is our anger right here. Because we can't really articulate what we want to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not our black leaders, it's not always there every day really trying to just, you know, verbalize anything for us.
Right. So
let's get frustrated, just throw anything or just, you know what I mean?
I'm on your side about that because I'm frustrated too.
It's one of those situations that's just happening.
Yeah. Well, you know, when people love you enough to tell you what happened, then you get the full story, and then you go see what the news did to it, I'm angry too. That was a total misrepresentation. It was an unnecessary arrest. It was harassment of an event that was supposed to be special, and it meant something to the people that were there, that were involved. It did not need the police to come in there, gangbusters, and break it up. It wasn't necessary. As certainly, when you said they were pre-notified, they knew you were having this party, why would they come in there and disrupt? So you haven't spoken yet, young man. You got something you want to add in here?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Like I said, I have something to say about that. Zach Randolph is a great individual. And every time that someone, matter of fact, he's not the only one that came into Nickerson Garden Housing Development as far as a star. You got rappers coming there today. You got the NBA Drew League that's 7 blocks away. That's Martin Luther King magnet school that they come there. But he came there for a purpose. Matter of fact, I got 2 pairs of shoes that he gave me because I wear size 14.
Oh.
So, you know what I mean? So it's not exactly.
You can't get those out of Payless.
No, you can't. And it's not exactly what you think it is. It's a lot of people over there that's going through situations based on the conditions that they live in.
Yeah.
And let me say this. It wasn't up to me. I was a child. My mama came to the housing authority and said that I have 7 kids and I need a place to stay. Not knowing that 87% of the housing development was bad, but the housing authority sent her there. So here it is, 20 years later, her grandson fall a victim of the circumstances, and they kick her out and her 7 kids. So now, if you ain't got no one that's trying to really help you live with the conditions that you're in, we have a father program over there in the Nickersons.
Yes.
Now it's closed. But I was willing to go to the Father's Day program this week because I'm a father. And I'm looking for ways out to better me and my family. And any way that is help for you could give me some type of information where they filling the jobs out, where they holding the interview, where the bus toke is or something. Everybody is not able living in that condition over there. And the projects is not a bad place.
No.
But if you're not giving me an opportunity to grow, then how you expect me to be somebody? So he's a guy that was giving some people over there an opportunity to grow to be somebody.
And you know what? Bless his heart, to bring himself there, not to be away through the TV. He actually came in person.
Yes.
That is above and beyond what we usually get. So he should be applauded, not arrested. And we have a phone call. So we were expecting phone calls tonight because we really wanted to spread this message.
That's great. That's getting out there. Huh?
Yeah, we're trying to. Caller, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
How you doing? My name is Anthony Hardaway. I basically grew up in the Imperial Court housing project over there, and I've been there, man. So I've been there since I was a little boy. I'm all of 37 years old.
You're still young, honey. You're still young. You haven't made 40 yet, but let's go on.
Right. I'm knocking on 40 door, though.
Yes, you are. You sure are.
Right.
But you had something you wanted to add in here?
Well, you know, I came in on the last end of the conversation, but I overheard the other guy saying that he's a father. I'm a single father as well. You know what I'm saying? I got 3 right now, 3 little children in my household right now. I stay out of Long Beach on the west side, but I got a 7-year-old son. You know what I'm saying? That's my junior. That's Anthony Hardaway Jr. I have my daughters, my 2 daughters, Rihanna and Tiana Hardaway. And, you know, based on where I grew up at, that predicament, you know, it made me a strong individual because, you know, truth be told, you know, you're going to be strong or you're going to be weak coming from that community, you know what I'm saying, of Watts, period. It don't matter with the development you come out of. You can come out of the Imperial Court, the Jordan Downs, the Nixons, the Haciendas, the Avalon Gardens, you know. It really doesn't matter, but, you know, based on who you are and the character of the person, you know, either you're going to fall short or you're going to get out of that predicament, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of brothers that have fallen short and, you know, ended up in jail with too much time to, you know, having me hope, or, you know, some of them that lost their lives.
Well, let me just say this. You know, this show has been on a while. It's called Gang Talk for a reason because we have suffered in that nightmare for too long. For way too long. And so the guests here tonight are to talk about that event that harmed Nickerson and the good work that's been coming out of there that went across the media as if Nickerson was a threat to the city. And that was so, I can't even find the word for it. I'm so angry about the misrepresentation that the media will throw on our people at any given time just to boost their ratings. You see, and we really, this show is not going to allow that to go unchecked. You're not going to get to just come in and blanket, tell the story any way you want to and silence the truth. We're
That's what
about
they
the
get paid
truth.
off of.
So that's
what
why.
they get paid off of.
Well, we don't care what they get paid off of. We're getting paid right here to tell our truth, and that's what this hour is about. So, we appreciate you calling in, but we have other guests here that actually were there. They were actually there, when the basketball player was arrested. Yes. So, we're about Nickerson tonight, but we really want to thank you for calling because it's a community involvement thing. That's what this is about.
Right.
It's about all of us, from Jordan to Nickerson to Imperial. It's about all of us, the 60s, the 40s, the 20s, all of us.
Absolutely.
Okay? So, God bless you, honey, and I hope that you will keep listening and call us back again sometime.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, and you take care of those precious daughters. Keep them out that
I sure
club
will.
and off the pole, Dad.
I sure will.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
man.
God bless
You're
you.
welcome.
All
Same
right.
here.
You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say something about the situation, the topic that we're on. Like Kiki said, Zach has been inspirational in helping so many families since Pete died. But he's also been trying to figure out a way to open up and let the people know that they gave him a black eye, and we can only give him encouragement. But at the same time, I also like to say that it was like you can get the media there so fast, but you couldn't get the MLMs there that fast to get my other brother off the ground the next following Wednesday.
No.
But this is the relationship we built.
Yeah.
So from that being said, it's like come on now, you guys are two entities, which I speak from is sheriffs and LAPD. At the end of the day, we all make mistakes. We all human, like you said earlier when you started the show off about one young lady was glorifying something that was negative. Well, we all made the mistakes. Those are two entities that have been made mistakes too. Mm-hmm. When you look at their history is not squeaky clean.
Oh, we're not giving LAPD a pass at all because we have that negative history and relationship with them because of them. It's their fault we don't respect them. That's their fault. And as many years as I've spent in this activism, trying to get transparency, trying to force them to listen to our concerns about their conduct. They've had the choice to listen or walk away.
Right.
Okay, and right now, we're in the walk away phase.
Absolutely.
They're not being forthcoming, so we're not friends. It's not a friendly relationship. If we had a friendly relationship, they would have handled that party a little bit differently. They wouldn't have rolled out there with broken windshields, but that's their fault.
Absolutely.
That's their fault. They came in the wrong way, just like with that shooting. Somebody want to talk about the shooting?
Well, I would.
Okay.
I know the individual personally. I grew up with his family. I've been hanging around him for like 40 years. Matter of fact, I just left the house and asked him, was it okay, just in case that someone mentioned that I can be allowed to speak. But let me say this to you.
Okay.
Watts is his own separate city on the map, but we are governed by the city of Los Angeles. And I don't know how that's possible. I served 16 years in prison. I got out of prison, and I'm looking for opportunity to change my life. I also got elected to the neighborhood council for 2 terms to represent the Nickersons for the righteousness. Now, I don't feel it's fair that you spend over $20 million under the Terrorist Act of Watts, and I'm talking about the Jordan Downs, Imperial Courts, Gonzaga, and the Nickerson Gardens, to take individuals down under the Terrorist Act and add an extra 10 years to their sentence. And that went on for 20 years. Mm-hmm. So now the individuals is in jail. They don't have anyone out there to take care of their kids. The parent is single. We don't have an understanding with the police officers. But today, you cannot enroll your child in any educational, vocational, or academic program over there unless you enroll it into the police program. Now, I don't even know these brothers over here, but they say they're from the Imperial Courts and the Jordan Downs. I never met them, but I know Reddy them over there. I know Solo. I know Huncho. Me and Huncho was in the penitentiary together. That's one of the leaders over there. And we ran a program called Watts Up, where all the brothers from Watts was one. We all got along. And I would like to came out of prison because I figured that was a good concept, trying to pursue that concept. That's why I went towards the neighborhood council, trying to represent the community and so far. But how could you expect me to have a chance at life when the one strike law is that if the circumstances that I live in, that my mama put me in because that's what she went to, but if you catch me with somebody, maybe my neighbor, because you put him on gang injunction, that you can also put me on gang injunction.
They did.
For talking to him.
They did. That's what they were doing. That's what they were doing before 92. Come on. That's what they were doing. They were throwing out these injunction papers based on where you were standing and who you were standing with, and it was just a blanket here. You're in the injunction. Come on.
So now, let me also say this. Now, I'm not going to mention any names, but
Please don't.
I've been dealing with the Democratic Party for.
Well, let's not go to politics. Let's not, this is community business, and
Right.
we got our own local issues without
community-
getting into politics. Because I'm gonna tell you, let me stop you. We do not allow politicians on this show.
Right.
We don't allow them. We don't talk about them. We don't name drop. We don't let them on this show to this mic because they haven't brought anything here. Now let's get back to the conversation that brought us here.
Okay, so now I'm an individual. Like I said, I'm a father.
Yes.
I got 2 kids.
Okay.
I got 4 grandkids.
Okay.
And I'm not looking for an opportunity to change my life now. But in the back of all that it's a contract set up with the Housing Authority to tear down the developments that we are living in. And it's already set up now.
Yes.
Now, here it is that you got people that is vested in this development that got $130 million, $230-some million. And they're looking for a profit for their return.
You're off subject. You're off subject. This is gang talk. Come on, not housing.
I'm saying, so how could you expect individuals living in them developments to be able to grow when their house is being taken away from them behind their back?
But this, you know what? This is not a problem that started overnight. It's not a problem that started overnight. And now the results of it, they're taking our homes from us. That's really what's going on here. You all didn't act right. Now we're going to take it. Mm-hmm. Okay, see, so let's just get back to what we as a people need to do for ourselves.
Absolutely.
You see, because we have to surpass the politicians. We have to surpass the politics. You see, because they're relying on our own internal division to do whatever the heck they want to. And you just mentioned it.
Right. We've been doing with ignorance. But, you know, at the end of the day, you hit it on the nose. We're just looking for the division. Because, see, the thing that my uncle just kind of reiterated to us was that it's America's thing. Yeah. It's not, even though it's hitting us right now, and we, from Watts, are now tired of it, and we want to voice our opinion, and we appreciate this platform you've given us right now to display this. But it's a worldwide situation, and we haven't reacted as others have. And I love the energy now that we're getting from our leadership, from our community base, from our church base, from our people.
Yes.
You know, like I said, I had a few brothers that say when that happened to the young brother on Wednesday, man, you know, we just need to forget about the other colors and all that stuff. We need to know, because this might trickle over into Jordan Downs. Mm-hmm. This probably didn't happen over the Imperial courts, because the individual entities have certain boundaries, but they're all within our 4 corner projects. So therefore, there are casualties from both entities.
We have casualties all over our community. It's not just in Watts.
Absolutely.
There's casualties on my block. I have bullet holes in my home, too. In my car. You know, folks that look like me came through my neighborhood warring and trying to kill folks in my neighborhood. This is not a new story. What's new is that we're waking up. Absolutely. We as a people are waking up, and we're done with that kind of violence. See, and the truth is, I had a high-ranking LAPD officer tell me that if we ended the gang violence, he'd lose his job. Ooh. Yeah, he wouldn't have no more work to do. And I thought, really? So which side of the table are you on about this?
Absolutely.
Okay, and his thing was, it's about my paycheck. Okay, see, so what am I supposed to take from law enforcement when a high-ranking African American officer tells me stuff like that. What are you supposed to take from that? Are we here to help them survive or help us survive?
Definitely help us survive. But that scenario you just used, the brother that got killed, he don't go home to his newborn baby.
That's right.
This other guy that shot him for no reason, when he was running away from him, you get to go home to your kids and you get to eat dinner. This young brother, who had no threat, whatever the cause may be, but he don't get to go home.
You know what amazed me about the story, and I don't want to speak too much on it because, first of all, we're very sensitive to the families and their grief, but we like to know the truth. And my understanding is what brought the sheriff's attention was he was talking to somebody in a car that was parked backwards. A car parked backwards in our community is what got law enforcement's attention in the first place and ended up killing the young man that was speaking to the people in the car.
Ironically, I'm going to say, that's one Wednesday after another.
There it is. There it is.
Like I say, as community representatives and stuff like that, like you say, it's time for a change. And that's what we're focused on. What you see up here is change.
Yep.
And we have proven ourselves far as in violence reduction in 1992 when we created the first ever gang truce.
Yes.
That created a downward spiral in gang violence in the whole in the whole city, and also went across on a national level because what we did, we maintained a peace treaty for over 12 years, drove crime statistics down. We eradicated the red and blue syndrome because when we was growing up, we was fighting over really red and blue.
Yes.
And when we came together, we dealt with that. And now we're dealing with socioeconomic problems, people problems, and money. Watts is still, like I said, the residents in Watts are still living on some of the lowest wages or average incomes, throughout the United States, $15,000 a year. 70% of people over there probably getting government assistance. And so the thing is that what we're trying to do is, again, like you said, become independent and stop relying on government to take care of our services or provide services for us, And what we represent is that new leadership.
Yes, you do.
And like you say, situations like, that took place in the Nickerson Gardens, when we call it a public hazing, because it's not so much about a black man having a gun, because we're Americans. We all have a right to bear arms.
Not black folks. Apparently not you.
No, we are. I carry a gun if I have to.
I know, but I'm making a cruel joke.
Yeah,
okay.
I understand. But
right.
It's just a serious situation because here we are, looking at a situation that kind of takes us all the way back to slavery, when they used to hang another black person in front of another black person because that person ran off the plantation.
Right.
So to get the other people on the plantation not to run, here's an example. And so by a man running. And even if he did have a gun, didn't give you a right to kill him.
Isn't that a message they're sending to Black America, though?
Don't run.
If you run from the police, we're going to kill you.
And we have history. We have history with the sheriff department telling us that when we was growing up, put your hands on the car. If you turn around, I'll blow your head off.
I'll blow your head off.
You know what I'm saying? So these things are definitely have to change, and to start holding these people accountable is not allow them to continue to do the same process. Oh, I was afraid for my life. Or I'm living in a community and you guys kill each other. See, they justify those actions based upon what they think. And so what we have to do is change that, and we got to hold them accountable.
Yes.
No longer should we allow them to continue to say, hey, we're going to investigate each other. Or we're going to let the county and all these other entities investigate each other. They all work together. You know what I'm saying? They all get their money from the same general fund, from the city general fund, and from the county general fund.
Let me ask you a very important question, because they just announced sometime this week that LAPD is about to institute drones. They're going to be flying drones over us now instead of helicopters.
About the LAPD.
But wait a minute.
They got so many things that violate your constitutional right. That if you knew about it, you could be holding them accountable for a lot of technology they're utilizing right now to eavesdrop on information, which is a violation of Title III.
But wait a minute. They promised us body cameras 2 years ago.
We don't want.
And wait a minute. See, what we need the body cameras is to keep them in check. Really, to keep them in check or get evidence of what their conduct is. So I know it's got flaws, but the reason we don't have body cameras is because Southwest cannot afford to be exposed. Did you hear what I said? They cannot afford to be exposed.
You got to look at this. How much does those body cameras cost?
They're already paid for.
Well, no,
they're already paid.
Who paid for them?
The city.
The city
has budgeted. Do you know that LAPD has the biggest budget in this city?
You got $1.4 billion. $1.4 billion. They get 51% of the general fund.
So the cameras have been paid for.
You know who paid for them? The taxpayers.
The taxpayers, yes.
We pay for that.
Yes, we did.
We paying for the services.
So where
we
are
for
the
our
cameras?
Politicians. We don't want the cameras because why? You can use those hundreds of millions of dollars that you're going to spend on these cameras and invest into strategies that solves the problem. We keep investing into problems, not the solutions to the problems.
You know, we have had to take a self-defense position with that little thing right there, that cell phone, to protect ourselves, because ain't nobody got no eyes and ain't nobody gonna be the witness, and when LAPD's misconducting themselves, who's gonna come and tell against them and get justice? See, that's the problem we have.
Let me tell you the system that they utilize to threaten and intimidate witnesses, and we just had Lee Baca, who was the chief over the sheriff department, just go to prison for him in the covering up and also invading in the federal investigation. See, that's against the law. That's unethical. And so that's what takes place when incidents like this happen between residents and civil servants, which is police officers and judges. Or there's a major cover up because why? The system can't investigate itself because the police have a police union and they have a system that's in place. And so guess what? When a person is a citizen is killed or harmed by LAPD or sheriffs, there's witnesses there. People are willing to come testify, but there's an organized attempt by these agencies to collaborate with LA Housing, which is Housing Authority, who threaten witnesses, who moves them out of the environment, and all these things takes place, and so it discouraged people from coming forward and telling the exact story that took place. And we've been dealing with situations like that, but the solution to that is that you call for a civil grand jury investigation, which oversees all judges. It's the same thing they're doing with Trump right now, an independent counsel. So this civil grand jury investigation you're supposed to impanel when you have a civil servant who act out of his capacity as a peace officer and become a rogue cop.
That doesn't exist, though, does it?
No, it
doesn't
exist.
It
does exist.
But look. I don't want to get off track because it is very much about what we need to do for ourselves. And I have always advocated for the Civilian Review Board in our community because we don't have any representation.
It's bigger than
we don't have any representation.
This right here trumps the Civilian Review Board because why? That's still police investigating police. You got to understand that the police department has a union that's so big and so influential that none of that stuff never matters. That's why you never have no solutions to them investigating themselves to try to come up with solutions.
You're talking about the very thing that we're trying to fight against, them investigating themselves. And the problem is they promised us body cameras, which is their weakness. They lied to us, but now they're going to bring a drone. Oh, really? Really? And what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
The best thing you could do in situations like this, you call for a civil grand jury investigation.
What civil grand jury, honey?
See, you got to understand what that is. You got to understand what that is. When you call for a civil grand jury investigation against a public official, the district attorney is supposed to impanel this person to start an independent process, not a process that's dictated by the city within itself. See, this is the information that we don't know about in our communities, and that's why we don't get no real solutions. And that's why you can't charge these officers with crimes because why? You're going through the process that they dictate and control.
Okay.
So, the civil grand jury investigation is the system that holds in check politicians,
so when
judges,
Ford
lawyers.
was killed, the autistic young man with the mental challenges was killed walking alone on 65th and Broadway.
Yes.
We should have impaneled a what?
A civil grand jury.
A civil grand jury.
Yes.
When we went to the police commission meeting and got arrested.
No, you went to the wrong process.
Well,
you went through the wrong process.
I'm looking for what you're talking about because that doesn't exist.
No, it does too. It does too exist. You don't know nothing about it. That's why you think it don't exist. But in order for you to keep politicians and law enforcement in check, you have to create an independent council that independently investigate these things. That's what you call a civil grand jury.
That's what I just mentioned.
Well, you said it don't exist. It does exist.
Where?
You got to call for it. You have to call for it.
We
and the
have
district
to
attorney.
create it?
No, you have to call for it, and the district attorney is supposed to impanel these investigations. But you got to hold them accountable.
Let's impanel them about that shooting in Nickerson last week.
Well, we have to go about a different thing because a year ago, they shot another guy named Richard Reiser, and it's still the same thing. They still ain't came up with a conclusion.
Last summer, South Bureau shot 4 black men in 3 months, and all of them under 21.
I understand
Where was it? Where was the panel?
Didn't
Where
nobody
was
call
the people?
for it.
Nobody
Didn't
called
nobody
for
call
anything.
for it.
Well, see, this is a problem. LAPD says we're done with it. They close the door. What you gonna do?
When you call for a civil grand jury investigation, you create an independent council. And so you don't have to worry about the police investigating themselves because they ain't gonna never come up with a conclusion.
Tell me something because this is something I've been missing all the years.
Yes, we all been missing it. We all been missing it.
We can learn something every day.
Yeah, well, teach me because I need to know how to make that happen.
Some of us get going on certain things, and we learn as we go. We didn't know about it a couple of years ago, and we just learned about it because we're fighting every day. With situations that we're here, the topic that we're on today.
Yeah.
We fighting every day. I mean, every single day. Me and Dawo have been working since, I want to say 91. 91. He gave me, my first intervention job. So we go way back. And then I come home off my vacation, and they gave me another opportunity. With American. So
yeah, American has been a very good program. I don't want to be divisive here. I'm really trying to be proactive in things that our people can come together and make happen for ourselves. And I don't see really any difference in the philosophy of what we're talking about because it's all about self-help.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm trying to get to. I really am frustrated that LAPD has so much power over us. They do. The power to kill us, contain us, put us in fear, arrest us, and we have no response. We got no response. We got no power. And when we go to the police commission meeting to complain, we get arrested. I mean, what are we doing?
You going to the police,
what are we doing?
Telling another police. They got a union. They got laws that protect themselves.
The Police Protective League. We're really familiar with them because they called out Ezell Ford's mother last year for protesting them killing her son.
But
and look, the Police Protective League president called her a criminal. And we didn't say anything.
But you have to find out who oversees them. How do they get investigated? How do you hold them accountable? See, there's a process to that they're not telling you.
Well, see, the Police Protective League is there to protect the police.
Yeah, they. You gotta understand, the police is not the government. They're a public entity. They're like a corporation. That's how Compton was able to dismantle their police department. Okay. So you can dismantle police department because they're not government. They get a grant award contract from the city to provide a service. Their true title is peace officers, and they have a protocol that they have to follow. So my thing is that if you don't understand their protocol, then you don't understand who oversees them, because all of them got people that they oversees. The only thing is there's this absolute power. They're not a power. They're like a corporation. They're not a government. The government is the people, because why? It's our tax dollars that funds them. That means they're open to the public.
So we're paying them to kill us. Okay.
That's what we're doing.
All right.
That's what we're doing.
Okay, somebody else. Okay, because this is just not getting us anywhere. I understand the concept, but we're really here to try to find solutions that work for ourselves. So you had something you just been over here to say. Yeah, who you?
Well, it's a lot of passion right here in the room.
Yes. We're passionate people.
And it's all, grounded in the same thing. We love our communities and we're the best for them. I'm just thinking about everything everyone is saying. You said casualties. I'm thinking, yes, especially at this time and especially in Watts. We're all casualties because, gentrification is at its peak. It's moved in already. Yes. It's placed there, and we're going to start seeing more things in the media. We are the target because, the new reign is coming in. And so, okay, they have the Jordan Downs now, so why not create drama and chaos and confusion in the Nickersons and the Imperial Courts? Why not? That's the plan. So we have to really come together and think strategically, plan strategically, put all the hate aside. It's the leadership. We know we're going to be strengthened, and like Daoud said, this is a new leadership right here, and we're tired of it. Yes, so this is really a message to the sheriffs and to the LAPD, Metro, Highway Patrol, all of you wonderful law enforcement parties. Not another one, not on our watch. And saying that very seriously, not another one. And Black and Brown, we do stand together strong. We have our issues, but we can work it out, and you don't have anything to do with it. I could say the many hats that I wear now, but I'm just really here being myself. I represent the community.
And I'm glad you're here too, see, because this is the only way we're going to get anything done is if we speak to each other. And this is one thing that gang violence has done to it's separated us from one another and broken our communication. And I thank you for talking about the passing, because we are very passionate about our business. We have a phone call. We need a part 2.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. We can hear you.
What's the deal?
I'm sorry?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, is this the show Future and Max Shorty?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, Max Shorty, that's you?
He's over here by me. You can't see him, but he's in the studio.
Okay, hi, everybody. Hey.
Hi, and look, we're going to do a part 2. We have to do a part 2 because 1 hour about this just ain't enough. So go ahead. You had a comment?
Mac is listening to you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Caller?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you had a comment or a question?
Oh, I was just calling in, seeing what the deal was and all that, you feel me? I know that my partner Max Shorty was going to be in there talking about the situations pertaining to Watts and the recent shooting of, Brother Kenneth Nicholas.
Yeah. We was trying to cover that, too. You had a comment about that?
I was just pretty much calling in just to see what you guys was talking about and just piggybacking off of that and whatnot.
Oh.
By the way, this is Bobby A.A. Jones.
Okay.
So, I was just calling in, just showing support to you guys' radio show, showing support to Max Shorty, and showing support of my beautiful city of Watts.
That's right. Well, God bless you. We're so happy to hear that, because we love our home base. Watts is our home, and we need to respect that. And the people that came up from there, that struggled and still struggle, and, it's about us, and it's time for us to take care of ourselves. So that's what this hour is about, us helping ourselves.
Yeah. We appreciate the call, man. This is Rico from the Nixon.
Okay, this is
Man,
Max
what's up,
Shorty.
Rico?
I
What's
have a
the there, man? How you feel, man?
Do we, as a Watts community, feel like we should impanel our own investigative committees when they come into our community and wrong us?
Yes.
Who wants to say yes? Yes.
I mean, that's what it's all about. It's about taking responsibility for our own self-determination. Like I say, the power we giving to the city and the politicians in our community, I mean, we treat them like we owe them something. Yeah. And really, they're supposed to be servants unto us. And so what we're going to do is flip-flop that whole thing and making them start holding them accountable for their actions and what they provide and what they don't do in our community. And so with that, we got to create created voter registration drives and getting our young generation prepared. If people don't adhere to what we say, either you get away from us, get out of here, or you won't be doing business in our community.
That's right.
And so that's the position that we're taking right now today, and we organize in that capacity. So it's like this is a new paradigm for us, a new shift. Mm-hmm. And we're no longer acting as if we are dependent on the system, whereas the system needs to start dependent on us, especially when it has everything to do with our tax dollars.
Oh, well, this is why I was suggesting that civilian review board. That's really what I meant, where we can look at this as a community, talk about it, talk about the victims that were involved, talk to witnesses, get control of that information ourselves, and then we have the power to bring it back to those, as you said. You wanted to say something?
Yes, I just want to add that our community has been so suppressed, and that has been the problem. And when I came to the just growing up in Watts and both developments from the Imperial Courts to the Jordan Downs, I have no boundaries. I'm faith-based representative, so I operate on a faith base, and we fall short to the lack of knowledge. People fall short to destruction because of lack of knowledge, and now that we're all coming together on one accord to balance out what we need to do in order to make sure our community no longer suffers. Yes. And that's where now that new people and new faces have come to the Watts Neighborhood City Council, out with the old in with the new. They kind of look for ways to target us now and say, you know what, they're messing up or they're doing this. No, they're so used to things being ran a totally different way. And what I have noticed and what made me come back and move back is that I've seen things in our community that we got to end the silence about. Just with CPS going in and taking our young women and taking the children and giving them, like, basically fostering them out within 90 days. There's issues in our community where I go into a workplace and it's unethically balanced. And those are the things that's suppressing our children, and our community is looking like, okay, we'll fight for you, but when are you going to stand up and fight for the things that you see that's going on? Because the fight is bigger than within ourselves. We're failing our community when we can't get along within our own community as being people and leader. The problem is no one wants to pass the torch. Everybody want to look for a position, and that's the thing that is corrupting and breaking down our community, is everybody's fighting for a title and a position that a lot of them can't even operate in. But if everybody can operate in the capacity in which they're good at, then it would be a lot of fire put out in a lot of situations. And once we're fighting amongst each other, we're losing the kids and the focus of the children in the community. And they're looking up to us like, dang, okay, we see you came up and you got your stuff together. How could we follow some of those tracks? That's why kind of when I got out of prison, I started a janitorial business so that they can see that you can do stuff and be proactive in your community and operate in entrepreneur skills, because so many of them don't know how to read and write. So we can teach them how to operate as an entrepreneur. And those are the things in creative arts and creative performance, the things that our children die and end up going to prison with so much creativity within them. So that's what we engage in to do, is to operate and to close a lot of gaps and raise more Angela Bassett's and Denzel Washington's than raising our children to be, incarcerated. And that's what the police have gotten so used to, because one of them made a comment in the Jordan Downs one day and told one young lady, if you guys was raising your kids, we wouldn't be in the gym doing homework, after school homework with them. So they look and targeted the community as being a lack of, because they're dealing with a lot of dysfunctional issues, and they tapped in on those dysfunctional issues and they took control when we should have stepped up and took control. So that's what the new faces are doing now. That's what we're fighting for now, is to be their voice and to allow them to have a voice, because so many times we speak for the younger generation, and the younger generation need to have their own voice, and that's why they're so frustrated and they're dealing with so much anger, because they're trying to release things that they're dealing with and they're taking it out on each other. And we got to give them a different platform to release a lot of things that they're dealing with.
And I really appreciate that. We have 5 minutes, so we're kind of going to go around the table, and I want you to think about your last comment, because this is going to have to be a part 2. There's got to be a part 2, because we didn't cover everything. And by the way, you ain't said much of nothing, honey. I know.
I got it.
When it gets passionate like that.
He's saying it in that order what I want to say. He's touching on it, you know what I mean?
I know, but
and we already sensitive one issue that I really want to touch on, you know what I mean? And that's with the shooting, you know what I mean? So we kind of sensitive to that. So that's what, I can't really
You want to come back next week and let's talk about that?
The NBA thing, you know what I mean?
Let's talk about this next week.
I came for, you know what I mean, something else. So
let's talk about this next week.
Especially when the police consider Watts, when we referred to, and I was told by a community member that LAPD referred to like they're working in a zoo, like as
Oh,
if
my God.
we are animals.
Yeah.
So definitely for sure, we're gonna have this conversation next week.
Next week, yes.
Because they got to know what's going on with the community trying to do, like, far as
Yeah.
what is, like, it's sad that the dude that was just, shot and killed had to be the one. For people, it's like, okay, we might get another peace treaty, you know what I mean? That's like something that we needed type stuff, you know what I mean?
The
it's
peace
like-
treaty has already been going on. And the beauty about it, it's going on all over our community.
Because it's getting a lot of positive,
we as the
TV
people
from
are
it. When as far as
tired.
Instagram and Facebook, like,
Yeah.
well, let's come together, let's do this, do that.
Yeah.
Police did that, they shut down our people. We can't kill each other, and them, they killing us. It's like, we're not winning.
Look, if we wasn't paying attention to Charlottesville, we already lost. If we wasn't paying it, if the black Americans wasn't paying attention to what Charlottesville, what happened there, we already lost. See, and I know we're not lost, and I know what God says, if it's lost, it can be found. Okay, so we are found people, finding our way. The best news for us is this right now. It's time to get on this side of it right now. Don't wait till next year. May not be a next year.
I want to say one thing.
Okay, because this has to be final thoughts.
It's more money. It's more money being spent to the police department in Watts to keep the separate developments. And I don't even know people from other sides, but I would like to get to know them because they're individuals just like I am. And maybe if I get to know them, they can help me, and maybe I can help them. But to say it again, it is more money spent through Watts to keep developments apart than trying to get developments together.
Yes.
And I just want to add that we can't do nothing without God, period. And that's the problem. Everybody been trying to do it by themselves. And if you don't take the Lord with you in the battle, in the fight, we're not going to win. So we got to start getting back to the root of how he said, for the violent, take it by force. And so that's what we got to get to.
We was created in his image, huh? Isn't that what it says? You, man and woman was created in his image. So how come we ain't a part of it?
Right.
Okay, because somebody told us we're less and we believe it. We ain't buying that no more. We're not having it no more. As I say something.
Right, so this is Jacqueline Baldejo checking out. I just want to say the other issue is that our community is in pain.
Yes.
And how are we going to come together and help heal the community? That has to be at the focal of the conversation and anything, before anything can move forward. We need to have a meeting at the well on a whole bunch of things, especially with leadership and passing that torch, succession plans around here.
Oh, well, this Rico checking out, as the young lady just said. I want to just say this to all the listeners and the team at the table. Everything ain't for everybody. Stay in your lane, because intervention work might not be for you. Sports might not be for you. But there's something that's for you.
Yes.
As Kiki said, it might be something you can help me with.
Yes.
But intervention work might not be for you. Music might be your calling. So, with that being said, it's mind over matter. If you don't have no mind, some of this stuff don't matter. But if you got a mind, as we do in Watts, because we're not animals and we're not in a zoo, that's a flat land. And that's for the next time I come back.
That's all right. Next week. Okay, so I think we're out of time. Bow Wow, you got one last word you want to say before we sing "Keep Your Head to the Sky"? All right, well, let Maurice White sing us out. God bless you, community family. Thank you for listening. And I think all of these folks are going to be back next week.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.